Audience, welcome for this training session hosted by IIU, and we are live on the Facebook. So let me check my Facebook page and see whether this live session has started. Yes, it started, and we are all here in today's session to know about 21st century education. But even before I get into my session, I would like to briefly introduce the IIU. So here I go with the introduction of IIU. International Internship University is the world's first internship-based virtual university, building a better and brighter future for all the young learners, and is committed to provide quality, accessible, affordable, skin-based, and location-independent education to the learners across the world. IIU is metamorphosing the conventional education system by cutting down the additional cost and providing access to more than 1,000 plus courses and internship opportunities to their e-learners across the globe. With a team of high caliber and experienced global educators, IIU has been accredited and affiliated with the World Education Organization and International Accreditation Organization, and collaborated with all the world's top university and educational institutions through the platform of massive open online courses. IIU provides various certificates and diploma courses, including graduation, post-graduation, diploma, post-graduation courses, and honorary doctorates, etc. IIU has received many accreditations as per international standards for its innovation, vision, creative ideas, research, and white papers publication. There is always that one person who has the vision, the thought, the idea behind a successful venture of an organization. And if we talk about the man behind the success of IIU, it is none other than our beloved co-founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit, a committed and aspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds, possessing excellent administrative, verbal communication, and written skills. He is a next-gen speaker and a passionate writer. The versatile Piyush Pandit is the founder of the Swarna Bharat Parivar and chairman of Piyush Group. He connected the world's first virtual internship university during the pandemic. The International Internship University, the IIU. So IIU is the change. IIU brings the change. IIU is the resolution. Self-introduction of the speaker now. So I will do it in middle of my session. And we are all set here to start the session with this screen presentation. Okay. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just a moment. So just back-end adjustments here. Training session hosted now. So I will do it in done. So welcome everybody. I have another screen to go through here, and if members have joined, can you just say a hi to me and introduce yourselves? Tell me where are you from, because next 60 minutes we are going to be with each other, and it would be wonderful to have you all here, to know who is here. Thank you so much. I can see Mr. Joseph is here. Please let me know where are you from so that I can welcome you for this training session. I can see Miss Priyanka is here. Miss Oprikan Emrina is here. Miss Masuda is here. Miss Rekha is here. Miss Amrita is here. Thank you so much. I can see members joining in. So we can give a minute or two for all the members joining in. By the meantime, we will know where are our participants from who are watching this. And I'm sure some of you will watch this session after in the recorded version as well. So thank you so much. I have Mr. Hussein Toda. I have Mr. Hussein, yes. And I can see Ms. Shruti is here. Welcome, Ms. Shruti. Welcome, Ms. Rekha. Welcome from Happy Kiddos. Yes, if you can tell me your name. Welcome from Happy Kiddos. Thank you so much. Yes, Charles, thank you so much. Welcome. Some names are really familiar, which we were together in the previous session. I'm sure some of you remember me in the phonics session, and I can see some members joining in here as well. So Mr. Charles is from Nigeria. A hearty welcome, Mr. Charles. Thank you so much. Yes, this is Mayuri Moga. A hearty welcome, Ms. Mayuri. Yes, this is May Mansoor. Thank you so much. So excited for the session. Yes, I am also equally excited to present this session on 21st century education. So now, yes, again, once again, a hearty welcome in collaboration with IIU. We are presenting the 21st century education. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Now, even before diving into the 21st century education session, are we all aware of what is this 21st century? Why do we need a different education for this 21st century? Let me just check how many of us are aware. And if you can just let me know, yes, you are aware of 21st century, please put it in the chat box, and so that I can understand how well my audiences are aware of this very, very unique century wherein, you know, reformation is just on the wheel rolling around. So please let me know. Thank you so much. Let me know. So, okay. So whose name is from Pakistan. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Shobha. I can see. Thank you, Miss Vijay Lakshmi. Thank you, Miss Ekta. Thank you so much. So I asked you, are you all aware of what is the 21st century, how the education system has to differ? What is the objective that we will have to look forward? Thank you so much. So here I go ahead. Yes, most of you are typing yes, and some of you want to know what is it. So even before understanding and diving into the 21st century education, I would like all of you to watch a short video. So this is a 2-minute video, which I want all of you to watch and tell me what are the 2 things that caught your attention, or you were amazed seeing those datas or numbers. So I request all of you to please go through this video. Yes, let me now take you through the video here. Yes. Okay.
The pace of change is staggering. Schools.
Video is not visible. Ms.Rajani, video is not visible.
Video not visible.
Yes, only
Okay.
sound.
The impact is felt by millions of children and their families around the world.
Okay, I'll share my screen once again and I'll try to play the video. Yes. Can you see my screen
fine,
now?
Fine.
Yes.
Consider for a moment the world in which they live. A world with so much knowledge it's hard to grasp. People are creating 2,000 new websites every hour. They are uploading 35 hours of video every minute and watching 2 billion YouTube videos every day. By the time they leave school, teenagers average nearly 1,000 Facebook friends. They connect with people thousands of miles away as if they were in the same room. They consume, produce, and communicate information in previously unimaginable ways. They truly are the children of a globalized world. And creative ways. In South Korea, schools are switching to digital textbooks so students can study anytime and anywhere, with online hours recognized as school attendance. Disengage students with online learning communities and personal mentors to help them rediscover their love for learning. The opportunities for Constantly updated digital resources structured around students and teachers' needs. And it's why we now have national professional standards for teachers and principals that make sure they meet the needs of 21st century learners. But that's just the beginning. Join us as we broaden.
Yes, I'm sure you all watched the video and you understood that it is just the beginning. It's the beginning of the 21st century. And now we all will dive into this 21st century through the slides once again. So visible, the slides are visible here?
No.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Now we all had a glimpse of what 21st century will look like and how we need to prepare ourselves for this 21st century education. So next slide. Yes. Now, what is this 21st century all about and why we need to be very, very alert while dealing kids in 21st century? We all know that the child born in 21st century is very, very unique. And I always state this with a short narration or a small or a short incident wherein you can understand what is this 21st century is all about. Well, my friend, Dr. Pediatrician were expecting a second child. The first child was only 2.5 years old, and he was always told that the younger child will come with a gift as he is born. Well, the day finally arrived, the younger child came into the world, and the mother and the whole family was busy in the hospital for 2-3 days. The child managed to be patient, and when the parents came with the baby, now the child see that the baby has no gift for him. The child stepped forward to the parents and asked, well, where is my gift? Even before the doctor couples were preparing themselves to answer, the child, the 2.5-year-old child guessed, well, my sister is too young. She may buy it online. Well, my dear friends, if you get this sentence right, how did the child react? The child told that if my sister can get me a gift online, this tells us the mental ability, the brain ability of the child. And the doctor shared that his teacher will have to wait for 1 more year, that is up to 3.5 years, to teach him standing line, sleeping line, slanting line. Well, this is the scenario that we need to understand. And if you got this narration right, let me tell you, you will be amused to understand the brain development that has already happened at the time of the birth. So now this 2.5-year-old child can solve a problem, can think what can happen next, can think out of box, and the brain is already working at that level, and his nursery teacher will have to wait for 1 more year to teach him standing line, sleeping line, slanting line. That is the education system available for us in today's schools or in today's classrooms. So let us all understand that this is not going to contribute anymore. And we as 21st century educators, yes, we are no more teachers. We are no more working in the classrooms. It is not teacher-centric. We now first have to reform ourselves as 21st century educators and take forward the 21st century education. So in this present slide, you are seeing the brain connections that has happened between the 0 to 3 months. It is only 3 months, the brain, you can see the neural connections that has already happened here. And thanks to Bonvita and Horlicks, I'm sure they have done our endorsement. Bonvita and Complan has already told that 90% of the brain development happens between the 0 to 5 years old. Well, as early educators, we all understand this. I don't believe there is any educator who don't understand that this special little organ, you know, I would recommend all the educators to have this organ, this, you know, the model or the miniature of this organ, which is the brain. So if you can see here, this is the small organ that has to work for 21st century, and the development, 90% of the development happens before the year of 5. And before that, the synapses are created. Now, let me tell you what is a synapse. You can understand this synapse as a neural pathway which is connected in this brain. Whenever the child tries to solve a problem, tries generating an idea, or tries thinking out of box, there is a synapse that is created in this brain. And it is only the number of synapses. The more number of synapses are created in brain, the intelligence level of the child is determined for future. So please let us all now embrace this organ. And now in the chat box, please tell me that will you have this model? If you buy it on Amazon, it is only 300 or 400 bucks. Can you keep it on your table to remind yourself that you are a 21st century educator? And along with other senses and motors, now you will have to work with the child's brain and see to that more and more neural pathways are established here before the age of 5, and the child is now prepared for the 21st century survival. So tell me, my dear friends, would you like to have it on your table and now claim yourselves as not teachers, 21st century educators who are now aware of the brain development of the child and will run the school or handle the classrooms wherein the child will definitely get benefit with the development of the brain. Thank you so much. Yes, I can see your chats here. So I will take 2 minutes and now I will read. Thank you so much. You're all agreeing with me. Thank you very much. Come on. I'm reading your chats. You can tell me if you are looking at something else. Thank you so much. This is Innocent. Dajang. Thank you, Miss Ambika. Thank you, Miss Kamal. I can see. Thank you, Miss Lana. And I have thank you very much, Miss Hayat. Thank you very, very much. And now you all understood and agree that yes, it is we early educators who are responsible for the brain development, and we will work towards providing more and more synapses in the brain wherein the child can be more strong and eligible for the 21st century. Now, how should this brain work in 21st century? So now we understand, it is clear till here that yes, the child now has to use the brain, but what is the 21st century requirement? What is the child expected to do? And how is this little organ expected to perform? Let us just have a look at these things. 21st century kids will have to work and survive in the global workforce, mastering the skills of communication, collaboration, and confidence. Well, this is the first thing that 21st century children will have to do. They will be a part of global workforce. They will no more belong to your towns. They will no more belong to your cities. They will no more belong to your places, even your states. Now, each and every child of 5 or 6 year age whom you are teaching now, after 15 years, when they enter the workforce, they will not belong to one geography. They will have to identify themselves in the global workforce, wherein they will have to collaborate and communicate with people across the globe and be a part of global workforce. Well, my dear friends, if you got me right, please type global workforce and you will know that the young children whom you are handling will be a part of global workforce in the coming future. So please let me know, did you understand the concept of global workforce? So can you understand? Yes, thank you so much, Sandeep Kaur. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Thank you very much. Now our children will have to prepare for the global workforce. And next, English will be the major language, undoubtedly. Thank you very much. Thanks all of you who are chatting and giving me that energy. Thank you very, very much. You understood what is global workforce. And yes, we are all set to prepare our child for the global workforce. So now English will be the major language. In my previous session as well, I have conveyed that now this is a global language and there isn't any choice for us to learn or not, unless and until you are choosing a regional medium, whatever could be your regional language, mother tongue, unless and until you are choosing for that, you will now have no choice but to learn the global English language. So thank you so much, all my friends who are typing there, who are interacting. Thank you very much. So keep interacting and keep that energy flow between you and me. Thank you very much. So point number 2 is also understood that now the English is not a choice, but a mandate to be in the global citizenship. Next is 21st century demands the high order thinking skills, which is inventory based. Thank you. Now, my dear friends, this is point number 3. What should this brain do? Should it be passive? Should it be like, ideal? No, it cannot be idle. It cannot be passive. Now the 21st century kids will have to use high order thinking skills. If you heard me right, please type HOTS. That means high order thinking skills is what the child will have to acquire, and the brain has to function to increase the high order thinking skill. So I would love to see some HOTS, HOTS on the screen if you understood that. No more. Thank you very much, Miss Lakshmi. Thank you very much for being first one. Thank you very much for all of you who are typing HOTS. That means you understand that HOTS, that is high order thinking skill, is very, very essential for the 21st century survival. And if you ask me, was there anything called as low order thinking skills, that is LOTS? Well, there was a system called as LOTS, which we will know further. So we will have to shift our perspective from LOTS, that is low order thinking skill, to the high order thinking skill. Thank you so much, all my lovely friends. Thank you very much for typing HOTS. Very soon we will understand what was LOTS and what is HOTS. But let us go to the next point and see what this 21st century brain will have to work for. Many jobs a student will have to do in 21st century don't even exist now. Can you all understand the severity, my dear friends? I will read it once again. Please listen to me. Please go through the screen and try to understand what our children will have to do. Many jobs student will have to do in 21st century don't even exist now. What is this calling us for? The children whom we are teaching in our early years, in our junior and senior KG classrooms, will have to do jobs that is not existing. We cannot set an example. We cannot set any guidelines for them. But if you can go back and recollect it, when you were young, you had the whole family members, friends telling you, do medicine, do engineering, do banking. We had some idea of how the future will look for us. But for our children, my dear friends, if you still think that these jobs will continue in the same way, banks will no more operate in the way it is operating today. The insurance agencies will no more operate in the way it is operating today. We will have to prepare our young learners for the future, wherein we don't know what type of jobs will be available. I would now like to stop here and look into your charts and want to interact with you. Are you aware? The children who are in your classrooms will have to do the jobs which is not existing. And you and me as an early educator, how are we going to prepare these little brains? Come on, my dear friends, give me your views. Tell me what you feel and how we can cope up with the situation. Thank you so much, Miss Masuda. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Miss Lakshmi. Please tell me your views as well. If this is the scenario, as early educators, how can we cope up? What can we do to face this situation? Thank you, Dr. Rishika Verma. Thank you very much. Looking forward for some more answers. If you can just be fast in your fingers. Thank you, Miss Anita. You agree with that? But what I'm looking at as, what are we doing as early educators? How are we contributing to improve this situation? Let us, yes, as your chats come up, thank you so much. Thank you. So as the session continues, you will get an idea on how we can prepare our young learners. Thank you, Piyush sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Wan. Thank you very much. So we will understand how we can prepare our young learners. Now, 21st century kids will have to solve problems which hasn't emerged yet. My dear teachers, educators, our little ones will have to solve problems which is not even existing now. So how will the child imagine? How does this little organ will have to imagine that which is not there at all and try to find a solution? Can you understand the complexity that our children will face in the coming future? And every point, as I'm mentioning, I want all of you to introspect and see, well, then what are we doing to this little organ to grow? So now these 21st century kids will have to solve problems which is not even emerged yet. Next is 21st century kids will have to use technology and skills which hasn't been invented yet. They will not use WhatsApp. They will not use Facebook, Insta, all the Google Pay, Phone Pay. No, they will use technology and skills which is not invented yet. Imagine the cope-up pace that this brain has to do. We all got time. We had ample of time to learn these skills. We had ample of time to understand the technology, but our kids are moving into a digital future wherein they will have no time. The brain should work so fast. The brain should adapt so fast that it will adapt to the latest technologies, latest skills, and start working, and you will have no time to learn. The brain must be so powerful, so ready for all these things. So the word ready, how can we keep this brain ready for the 21st century? My dear friends, these were the 6 pointers. These are the 6 requirements for our little children who are studying in our classrooms to face the 21st century. Now, how can we keep this brain ready to acquire this future, to bang on, to succeed in this 21st century? Again, I'm going back to the chats to interact a while with you and ask you how you are enjoying the session. Are you able to relate with me? Are you able to connect with me and understand what we are discussing in today's session? So my dear friends, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. You are all enjoying the session. Thank you, Ms. Lakshmi. Yes, as educators, upgradation. And that is what IIU is doing, bringing in training sessions free for you every day from different speakers, different topics, so that as educators, you are empowered to handle these 21st century kids. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Yes, the chats are rolling. So, and I go ahead with my presentation. Yes, thank you very much. Anita Jagdish says enjoying. Thank you. Deepa Babu also says, so keep enjoying, keep interacting. We shall have many more new things to know. So now, even before going into 21st century, if you all think and understand, then if 21st century is something different, what was 21st century? So is there a difference between 20th century education and 21st century education? Yes, there is a vast difference. There is an ocean of difference between the 20th century education and the 21st century education. And I would like to call the 20th century education as 20th century schooling. It was not education that you and me received when we belong back in our schools. It was not education. What you and me received was schooling. So now if you have a notepad and pen, please write it out. 20th century schooling versus 21st century education. Now that we are reforming the schooling system, we are now trying to educate our little ones. So we are now going to understand what was 20th century schooling and what will be 21st century education. But even going before the 20th century schooling, I would like to talk about our ancient Indian education system. So centuries before, what was the ancient Indian education system that was available for us? So if you all remember, or if you all have noticed, that was Gurukul type of education. I'm sure all of you know about this. There would be one guru who would be the mother teacher. And if you can see through the slide also, the guru used to handle a group of children, not masses, only group of children, and teach everything that is required to them, all the skill sets, all the languages, all the life skills, everything that is required for the child's survival. The child would study it under one guru, that is mother-teacher relationship. And only after the child becomes capable with all the skills, with all the knowledge, and with all the requirements, he would be sent back to his place to lead the life, and the success rate was 100%. So we had such a beautiful education system going through in our country. And what happened? British Revolution. As the influence from the British started, there was an influence on our education system as well. And what was that influence? After Britishers' influence, the industry system came up, the factory system came up, and Britishers wanted people to work in their factory. Now the Indians who were exposed to all culture, knowledge, tradition, skill sets had to minimize, it's not maximize, they had to minimize their knowledge, because the British wanted the factory people who would just do the 9-to-5 job, who would just do a prescribed job, who would not ask any question, who would not think to invent anything, who would not want to discover anything, who didn't want to be a part by generating ideas. No, the British didn't want we Indians to use our brains. They wanted us to follow them. So the revolution in the first place happened in this way, that now the system had become the industry oriented. Next, acquiring predefined skills. That means, what is predefined skill? If you go to a school, you were able, now you were given a syllabus. It was predefined. Okay, first standard, the child will learn this. After that, in second standard, the child will learn. So till 10th standard, the child will learn this. Then first PU or 11th. So there was predetermined objectives. You were not free to choose that I want to study this, I want to reach there, I want to learn that. No, you were not free to do that, wherein the objectives were predefined for you in every class. Next, schools had to cater the required knowledge. So if you want bankers, so open a commerce school and prepare the child for bankers. If you want engineers, open engineering colleges and prepare some engineers. If you want doctors, prepare some doctors. So everything was based on the knowledge that is required for industry revolution. Next is, in the whole process, what happened? We started creating knowledge consumers. So the great Indians who were using their full capacity brain, now with the influence of British, started becoming knowledge consumers. Can you all understand when I use the term knowledge consumers? Please let me see in the chat. Do you understand how we became knowledge consumers? That means teacher used to teach us, we used to learn, and I became a teacher and I passed on the same thing to my children. So in the whole process from years together, we all became knowledge consumers, consumers, consumers. Then who will produce knowledge? Let's discuss it later. Then we had to reproduce the knowledge. So whatever I learned from my teacher, if I learned digestive system in my classroom, what I was supposed to do, reproduce in my answer paper. I had to reproduce the answer, and if I got it right, I would be the topper of my class. So no matter whether I understood digestive system or not, no, it doesn't matter. Was I able to reproduce? Ratu Tota? Can you know? So if I were able to reproduce the knowledge, then I would be the topper. And now I would carry this knowledge for my next class. So based on this, after completing first standard, I used to have some knowledge and go to the second knowledge and consume knowledge from the second standard teacher, consume knowledge from third standard teacher, wherein my brain did not work at all in the whole process. So we have now completed 30 minutes. Yes, my dear friends, we have completed almost half of the session. And now I would want to look here and know what did you learn till here. We have 30 minutes more, my dear friends, wherein you will get some amazing and interesting facts to know how we can reform the schooling system. But will you all agree that we all passed out from the 20th century schooling? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Miss May, it's absolutely right. Nowadays, children keep on playing with your phone. Yes, so we will talk about technology. We will talk about gadgets. We'll talk about the requirement as well. And now you all understood. Yes, training the early education teachers. That is the key that is now required to unlock this situation for all of us. So now we shall see what was 20th century schooling. So what was the major types of evaluation assessments that were available for us, on which we were evaluated? What are the things that was done after learning a chapter or after completing a lesson? Can you all go back to your school days and understand what were the question types that was available for and we were promoted? Yes, if you can find it out from the screen, you can see we had true or false, we had choose, we had some describe dash dash dash, we had MCQs, we have cross, odd one out. So all these question tags that you are seeing on the screen are called as question tags. After understanding a concept, we had a question paper by the end of the year, which had all these questions. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. So do you all remember these questions that is on the screen? Do you all remember answering to these questions? So we had all these questions when we did our schooling, and we very sincerely, what did we do? Reproduce the knowledge. Okay, whatever the teacher taught us, if we were able to reproduce the knowledge and answer all these questions, well, I would stand as a topper in my classroom. How many of you were toppers in your classrooms? Can you just type yes? And thank you, Miss Masuda. Thank you, Miss Daj Ang, if I'm taking your name right. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Thank you very much. So do you all remember answering these questions? And now the most pathetic thing for which we all should feel sorry is we are still continuing. We are still continuing to evaluate the child on the same parameters. We are giving the same question papers. We are making them write the same topics, and we are using the same 20th century schooling, my dear friends. But what should we prepare this brain for? We should prepare this brain for something very big, something very mysterious. And these questions will not help you to evaluate whether the child has understood the concept and will he use this concept. So now let us analyze Bloom's taxonomy. So this is called as Bloom's taxonomy that you are seeing on the screen, which will give you a clear distinction of what was low order thinking skill and what is high order thinking skill. So now if you see, this is a pyramid here, and the last two which forms the base of the pyramid is knowledge and memory is the first thing. Understanding and comprehending is the second thing. So I want all of you to look at the lots. LOTS, that means low order thinking skills. So Bloom's taxonomy has classified these things, that is understanding and comprehending, knowledge and memory, as lots. And now if you are able to understand what is lots, please type lots. I will have a water break, and I would like to look into the chat and understand, are you all ready now to know what is hot, how we can bring it into our classrooms, how we can create miracles in our classrooms using this high order thinking skill? So please type lots and get interactive, and I will take my water break. Yes, thank you. I can see the name Innocent Daj Ang. Please give me your name. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alam Nuta. Thank you, Miss May. Thank you, Miss Seema. Thank you, Miss Amreen, Professor Mehreen. Thank you, all of you for typing lots. Thank you. Yes, Bloom's taxonomy is what we have forgotten. You know, Bloom's taxonomy has been, it's a wonderful tool for the teachers, to the educators, to understand what exactly is our teaching, the objective of our teaching. So now, after understanding lots, which you and me used in our schooling, what were we supposed to do? Knowledge and memory. The first thing is knowledge and memory. Go back to your classrooms. If the topic was animals, were you able to understand some facts about wild animals, like they eat flesh, they live in jungle? And what is memory? If you could memorize 5-10 names of wild animals, that was sufficient for you. That was sufficient. Understand and comprehend. What does it mean? In the question paper, based on this knowledge and based on this memory, now you have to marry the knowledge and the memory. So knowledge is knowing some information about wild animals. Memory is holding them in your memory. And when you married these two and you were able to comprehend, answer any questions that was available for you on your question paper, you would stand as a topper. So that is not required. Knowledge and memory is not required. Why? We have Google. Google has already come. If you ask for 10 examples for wild animals, Google will give you 100. Google will give you thousands of examples. Then why do you need to memorize 10 wild animals? And when we come to knowledge, in 20th century, the knowledge that was available for you was only your textbooks. Now with Google, you have the worldwide information. Then why do you need knowledge? We absolutely don't need knowledge and memory skills in our classroom. We need something beyond this. We need the things that is beyond 2 steps. Now I want all of you to see the 3rd step. So what should the child know now? The child should apply the knowledge. So, okay, you know some concept, you know some topic. Now, can you apply this? Can you convert the system for application based? How can you bring in the applied knowledge? Please make a note, those who are hearing for the first time. Applied knowledge. Knowledge we don't want. Google is giving us. So with that information, how you can make it the applied knowledge is your challenge as an early educator. So how the child can use this concept in everyday life to clear problems, to solve problems, to survive, to generate is what matters. So can we make the education system the applied knowledge? Let's think about it. Next is analyze. Well, we don't want knowledge. We will give you knowledge. Google will give you knowledge. With that knowledge, what you can analyze. That makes all the difference. How you can analyze and understand the underlying information. How well you can connect the dots and how well you can create a new picture which is not available. So analyzing is the next important skills among the high order thinking skill. Next is evaluating. Now, what does evaluation means? That means after applying, after analyzing, how will you evaluate? How you will evaluate what is right, what is not wrong, and if it is wrong, how you can make it right, how you can substantiate and make it usable. So evaluating is the next high order thinking skill. And if you can see the apex, I want all of you to please see the apex, the highest of the high order thinking skill. Can you type? I will not take the name. If you are all watching the slide, what is that highest skill that the child need to develop? High order thinking skill. What do you see? Thank you, Miss Hemlata. Presentation and content are really mind blowing. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now, thank you, Miss. No, I'm not telling. Now you will have to type what is the highest high order thinking skill that you are seeing on the slide. Come on, my dear friends. Let me see who can type it for me first. Yes, 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 please. What are you seeing? Before I take that, I want you to see the slide and understand what is there. Pics. Yes, thank you, Miss Manjula. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Thank you, Amrita, and all others who are typing. It is create. You know, creating is the highest of the high order thinking skill. And now we will have to prepare the young learners. This brain, we will have to, prepare, make this brain ready to create. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Miss Mayuri. Thank you, Miss Seema. Thank you, Miss Masuda, and everybody there. Now, creating is the highest of the high order thinking skill. So now what is this create and what we need? Why we need this? The world needs knowledge producers. We are fed up with the knowledge consumers. You get knowledge everywhere. You get it on YouTube, Google, classrooms, teachers, coaching classes, everywhere. So don't become knowledge consumer, become knowledge producer. Because if you are looking at a futuristic world, if you want to survive, if you want to thrive, if you want to enable your child to thrive in 21st century, then we should become knowledge producers. So please, 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 my dear friends, I would love to look this term on the chat box, because I want you to get aware that, chalo, we will now prepare the knowledge producers. Please, thank you, Masuda. Thank you very much. So now please type, we need to prepare, as early educators, we need to prepare knowledge producers. We don't want consumers. Lakho pade hai. There are millions who are consuming knowledge. We don't want. Let us prepare the child for the production of knowledge, new ways of thinking. Thank you very, very much. Yes, creative writing class is the best way wherein you can bring in the creative skills. Thank you very much. Yes, Bloom's taxonomy is an encyclopedia. There is no end for any learning there. But one thing we can take away from today's session is, let's prepare knowledge producers. Don't want knowledge consumers. Thank you very much. And now how we need to produce knowledge? How? Now look here. We should enable the child. We should enable this little organ. I'm bringing this on the screen often and often for all of you to understand. This is where we need to work on this organ which nobody can see. So now this brain should be able to create new things. This brain should be able to generate new formulas, ideate new concepts, innovate new technologies, being novel and unique, and it should discover. So this brain can do all these things. That is the highest of the high order thinking skill. Then the world belongs to such brains. Then the world will bow down to such brains. One idea can change the life. Yes, it is only that one unique concept that we need, one new idea we need to generate to solve a problem for the common people, for the world. And we need to prepare our children capable to generate ideas, give novel problem-solving situations, think out of the box. We don't want consumers, we want producers. And if you all understood, my dear friends, if you all understood how important this organ is, what is our role to create this brain to become knowledge producers, please let me know. Thank you so much, Ms. Bhavya Raju. I know there will be a lag, So whenever I look at your chats, there will be a lag. And when I turn out, your chats will appear. But heartful thanks to all of you who are typing your answer, who are keeping that energy alive. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Dr. Tikam Soni. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Shobha. Thank you very much. Can we all commit, my dear friends? Can we all commit to become 21st century educators, wherein we walk into our classrooms, and create our children to become one of those people who will have strong developed brain? So can we commit? Come on. If you type commit, then I will understand that you are with me in this session. You are able to understand, resonate with what I am telling. And from tomorrow, you will be aware that it is not only fine and gross motor skill, using our hands, legs, using our 5 senses. Along with this, now nurturing this little organ is our responsibilities. Yes, my dear friends, thank you so much. Thank you, Kamit. Thank you very much, Innocent, Dajang. Thank you very much for being first. Thank you, Calista. Thank you very much. So we all commit. Now we all commit to prepare the child for this strong brain. Thank you very much. And now a quick review. What was 20th century and what is 21st century? A very, very quick review. Thank you so much for committing and being wonderful audience here. Thank you very much. So now let us look at the shift of the paradigm that we will have to take it. Let us look at the shift that we need to make in order to transform the 20th century schooling to 21st century education. Now we don't want schooling. We want the right education to survive in the 21st century. So 20th century was time-based. Now I'm comparing the table. So you can, thank you, Ms. Amrita. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. So now please follow the table. 20th century education was time-based and 21st century is outcome-based. Now we don't want time. We don't want 30 minutes period. We don't want one classroom. We don't want one academic year. No, outcome. If you can give me outcome in 1 hour, that's fine. If you want 6 months to give me an outcome, to give me a results, that's fine. We are ready. So now the whole perspective has changed. It is not time driven. Number 2, 20th century schooling was textbook driven. The only source of information and knowledge that was available was our textbooks. And if we were able to, rut that textbook, mug that textbook, we would be the leaders. No, now it is research oriented. 21st century requires research and analysis, and only on that basis the information is generated. Number 3, 20th century was only passive learning. My favorite thing. That means the teacher used to give lectures for hours together and we were just supposed to just fold our arms and sit down. If I would be very studious student, I would just fold my arms and look at my teacher for 30-40 minutes and just listen, use my hearing sense and just listen. I would be the best student of the class, wherein my brain didn't work in the whole process. I was only passively sitting in my classroom. My brain was not active. But 21st century, the scenario is completely different. The teacher will have to be now passive. Now she will have to bring in active learners. The sessions in the classroom has to be in such a way that the learners become active. That means actively use brains, right? And next, 4th point is 20th century schooling was teacher-centered. We all know teacher used to be the hero of the class. Whatever she said, if she said the crow is white, then yes, we all believed the crow is white. That was teacher-centric schooling. But what is 21st century? It is child-centric education. The teacher, I don't know whether should I tell it with pride or should I reveal by being sad. Today, teachers are not required. Google has all the information more than the teacher. Google can give you any information. So the teacher should understand that her role is different from what her teacher did. So now it is child-centric education and no more teacher-centric classrooms. Number 5 is fragmented curriculum. What is fragmented curriculum? Bits and pieces. Bits and pieces were taken and a curriculum was made. A portion of English, a portion of maths, or a concept in numbers. Everything was in bits and pieces. And 21st century education is integrated. We will involve everything. We need to understand everything. It is a 360-degree education that is required for 21st century. The next is the assessments used to be print-based. That means question paper, answer. That is what the evaluations and assessments were meant to be. But now the assessments can be in multiple forms in very, very creative ways, wherein you can, as a teacher, reflect your performance. Next, The print was the only medium for us available in 20th century. And in 21st century, it is multimedia. We have audios, we have videos, we have blogs, we have podcasts, we have vlogs, we have multiple resources for the knowledge. The next is 20th century demanded isolation. That means what? If I was a student of 20th century, then I would walk into my classroom with my book. I used to be very studious. I would not talk to anybody. I would just sit in my classroom, listen to my teacher, whatever she said, very, very sincere, studious, and reproduced everything in my exam. That is what we all did now. Then I was regarded as a very good student. I don't open my mouth. I don't use my brain. I only reproduce whatever my teacher said. I got the first rank. You all remember our days? We used to get first rank if we reproduced everything. Even if you had used a synonym, if you have used one more word, the teacher was not ready to give you marks. How many of you have gone through this? Come on, my dear friends. Chats has to roll, you know. I can say it on the other screen. Only when it rolls, I will understand that, yes, my audiences are also enjoying this. They are able to relate what 20th century schooling was and how we need to reform for the 21st century education. Yes, now chat's coming up. Thank you very much. Thank you, Miss Amreen. Thank you. So now it is not isolation. Today in 21st century, if I walk into my classroom and say, I will not talk to anybody, I will not express my thoughts, I will not share, then I'm off of this world. 21st century demands collaboration. How well you can collaborate with each other, how well you can communicate, how fast you can give your thoughts, how furiously you can place your ideas, determine your success, your survival in the 21st century. So no more isolation. Everything will be now on the basis of collaboration. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you very much. Can you please share the PDF? Definitely we'll try to do that. We'll request IIU. If they're happy, I can do that. Next, last is 20th century schooling was based on facts and memorization. As I told you, if I knew some facts and if I were able to memorize Rattu Tota, if I had become a good, very, very good Rattu Tota, I would be a genius in my class. No, that cannot serve anymore in the 21st century classrooms. You will have to use high order thinking skills, that is analyze, that is apply, that is create. Only then your survival is determined in the 21st century. So this is the shift of the paradigm that need to happen in order for us, for all of us to transform from 20th century schooling to 21st century education. So that was all about today's training session, how we can transform 20th century schooling to 21st century education. And I'm very, very happy. Thank you, Miss Helen. Good session. Thank you very, very much. Now, thank you, Calista. Thank you very, very much. So this was the objective, but we have 5 more minutes for Q&A. You can put your questions on the chat box. I'd love to answer, but there is much more coming up in our futures training sessions wherein we will take it further. How can we prepare kids for 21st century? What are the 5 C skills? Because it is skill-driven education for 21st century. What are the 5 C skills that is required for 21st century? How the child needs to collaborate, communicate, think critically, build up confidence, and finally, how the child can become creators, that is knowledge producers, not knowledge consumers. With this, my session is ended here. Thank you so much, but I'm here for next 5 minutes to interact with you through your chats. Right, my dear friends? So I will stop the screen so that, yes, now you can see me better and I can see your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, all my friends. Those are happy, and there is a Google form there in your chat. So please fill, and you will receive a participating certificate from International Internship University, a very, very good initiative to empower our educators. Thank you very much, my dear friends. So I'm here for 5 minutes. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to know more about any of the topics that we discuss, and also put in the topics that you want to learn from us in the field of foundation years. Now early education is extended to foundation years. So please let me know what else you would like to learn from IIU so that we arrange resource person and you will have your training. So my dear friends, thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Sasmita. Thank you very much. And I would like to read your names as well. Ms. Sasmita, thank you so much. Ms. Shikha Sharma writes, it was a very informative session. Thank you very much. Sasmita writes, a lovely session. Thank you. Amreen, thank you very much. You can also write your takeaways. Come on, my dear friends, last 3 minutes only. Since 1 year, since 1 hour, I'm talking. Can you all put one takeaway from today's session? I'd really love to read that. What is one takeaway that you felt, yes, it's worth taking to our classrooms? Please take out your 2 minutes and put it in the chat box. What is your one takeaway that you will take to your classrooms and start implementing that? Please let me know. Thank you, Ms. Masuda. Thank you very much. I'm waiting for that one takeaway from all of you. Thank you, Happy Kiddos, how to make an inactive child to active or inactive classroom. Very good idea. A big applause for Happy Kiddos. And did teachers change negatively or positively in the 21st century? Well, we have to change positively. Then Sasmita, proud to be a part of this session. I'm equally proud, my dear. Please tell me what is your takeaway. Then Abhi Teju says, thank you. Abhi Teju, please tell me what was your takeaway from today's session. Manjula says, Bloom's taxonomy. Thank you, Miss Manjula. Professor Mehreen says, a change is definitely needed. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving your valuable opinion. And Innocent Dad Jang says, fill the form. Okay, I think one of them from back end, you will get the help and you can fill the form. Thank you, Miss Sasmita. Great job. Thank you, Miss Emrina. A session full of energy and lots of information. Thank you very much. And Abhi Teju says, more creative brains. Yes, we need more creative brains. Priyamvada Talukar, thank you very much. But where is your takeaway? Right? And Shazia Hassan, transform early educator as a knowledge producer. Very well said. If you can convert yourself as knowledge producer, your classrooms will rock. And many more coming. Thank you, Monica Oswald. Thank you, Hayat. Due to the need of the students, everything should change. Wonderful perspective. I highly appreciate what you have said. Professor Mehreen says, will you share the presentation? Well, Deepshika will let you know how we can share this. And Kamal Kumar, you have not talked how teachers will be prepared. Yes, thank you, Mr. Kamal Kumar. We cannot do everything in 1 hour. Keep following IIU. In the next session, we will definitely let you know how teachers can create this difference. Thank you so much for asking this question. This tells me how excited you are about our upcoming sessions. And Abhi Teju, to be more creative in front of kids. Yes, we need to be creative. Wonderful perspective, Miss Abhi Teju. Manjula, you made us think more about early childhood learning. Wonderful perspective. Shobha says, we'll always follow Bloom's taxonomy. It is an encyclopedia for us. So please go depth, understand more about Bloom's taxonomy. And attendance form, kindly reshare the attendance form. Happy Kiddo says, your methods of promoting teachers help us a lot. Thank you very much for Happy Kiddos. Thank you, Diana. Thank you. Excellent session. Thank you, Miss or Mr. Hitesh. Thank you, everyone. An insightful session. Thank you very much. Kindly send the present action. Ms. Deepshika, please note this. Feedback form people are asking. So Shika Sharma says, in next session, please cover how to deal with hyperactive children in classroom. Wonderful, we have noted. And we will have a session on how we can manage hyperactive kids. Professor Mehreen, well done. Thank you so much. Yes, IIU rocks, bringing in all trainers and giving these training sessions. Thank you, Sadaf, for effective session. Yes, indeed, with all of you. The session was amazing for me as well. giving them more stimulation by creating well-organized environment. Yes, environment matters a lot. So hyperactive kids can definitely be managed in the right environment. And I think it's 8 o'clock, sharp 8 o'clock. And thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Those are all. Yes, thank you very much. So we are all good to close this session. Hope 60 minutes you all enjoyed and there was a takeaway for all of you. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for showering so much of love on IIU. Keep rocking. Thank you very, very much. Tata, bye-bye. Good night.